2 updates this week with crazy skins. Let's begin. Welcome back to another episode, guys. We've got 2 patches coming out this week, or possibly 1 patch, but with extra content releasing a little bit later. Tomorrow, we've got a patch on January 28th that would technically be the day of the release of this video. So today, or depending on if I release it on Monday. I hope to release this on the Monday instead of the Tuesday, but whatever. There's also going to be some extra content released on the Wednesday, Thursday, depending on your time zone. So let's talk about what's coming on January 28th. This should be Tuesday. In the store, we're getting 3 different special packages because it's Chinese New Year, and that's going to be exciting. We've got the first package called Of Frozen Jade that includes the S tier Doctor Skin Master Apothecary and the S tier accessory Flask of Longing. You can purchase these in the package, or you can buy them separately for echoes and fragments, but the package will only be for echoes. There's also this Serene Harmony package that includes the S tier skin for Naiad called Jade Maiden and the S tier accessory that matches it called Pouch of Heavens. I don't know what the effects are for this. I'm not sure if they've released a video for it. I didn't notice it when I was scrolling through things. Yeah, I wonder what the effects are. Someone can probably tell me. Of course, you can purchase all of this content in the package or separately, the same ways you can with the previous one. There's also the Gallant Indulgence package that contains the S tier Cowboy Skin Exiled Immortal and the S tier accessory Chalice of Clarity. Of course, you can buy this in the package or separately. All of these packages will have a 31% off if you purchase them as a package, not the skins and accessories individually. So yeah, that's quite good. We'll also find some extra stuff in the store, including the lovely red packet cover that will cost 10 echoes and lets you send red packets to your friends. I can't remember what it sends. Does it send inspirations, clues? I don't remember. And there's also a second package that's like a collection of red packets where it costs 88 instead of 100 to get 10 red packets that, of course, you can send to friends or in public chats. Of course, with these skins, we're getting the Chinese New Year Part 3 event that is the Fires of Renewal Part 3. I want to clarify that I don't completely understand everything that's coming out this patch with the kind of part story event. They gave us a really good description, but I didn't really understand half of what it was talking about. So I've got it on the screen just in case if you guys understand it a little bit better. There's going to be a story event where content releases over 8 separate days. And if you complete each day's story part, you'll get 20 banquet delicacies. That's like a special currency for the event. By completing the Banquet of Flowing Cups and Poetry and Ornate Plate Restoration minigames, you also get 5 BD. I'm going to call it BD because that's Banquet Delicacies. That's, again, the currency. There's also the Ceramic Dreamscape, where you're able to apply colors to 3 blank ceramic pieces. You can then upload those and showcase those to your friends and also to the community in the Tang Sang Kai exhibition. These pieces can also be claimed as room decorations that you'll be able to, like, as furniture into your room. You can choose from 3 different shapes, including incense burner, jar, and wine glass, but you could only redeem 1 of each, and you cannot change them afterwards. So you have to be very careful which one you want to do. So I'm assuming you get to paint things in the way that you want to, and then bring that and put that into your room. This is a really cool feature if that's the case. This event will reward you with 10 BD each day, so that's even more currency. If you participate in matches, you'll be able to receive more BD, including 20 each day. What can you do with this currency? Well, you can use it to purchase the permanent A tier unlock card. Finally, that's when you can get it. The accessories Serpent of Wealth, stickers, emotes, and even more rewards, some of which I'm probably displaying on the screen right now. At midnight on January 29th, we're going to be able to see a fireworks display that I can imagine will be in the same place that the global one is usually placed, so that will be in the public map and also probably in the S tier room. And yeah, there are more details as I'm displaying on the screen. Another thing that you'll be able to receive on January 28th are 10 memory spheres that I believe they're just rewarding to us by logging in. Not sure if you have to do anything for those. Okay, moving on to January 30th, so that's going to be Wednesday, Thursday, depending on your time zone. We're getting the new Survivor Meteorologist available for purchase in the store. Currently, she's only available if you unlock her in the essences by getting lucky, by getting her S tier skin, but you'll finally be able to purchase her and play around with her because she's also coming with a B tier skin called Harvest Hustle that you'll also be able to purchase her and this B tier skin together in a special package if you want to, with a 20% discount. And in the store, you'll also find a special package costing 10 echoes that has inspirations, clues, all of those kind of things. As many of you know, we're getting a crossover on February 20th that is the Conan Doyle Estate crossover. That's essentially just the Sherlock Holmes crossover, if you didn't know what that meant. This is going to bring along a ton of skins, and we've talked a little bit about which skins were coming in the past, but we didn't get a good look at these skins. We could see a faraway image of what the skins look like, but now we know exactly what they look like, and they look really, really good. The first one I want to talk about is the S tier skin for journalists called Miss Watson. It has some really pretty skins. I love love the color combination of the orange, the blue, and the gold, and she has a really cool, unique looking camera. And she is also getting an A-tier accessory called The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes that seems to be a book of Sherlock Holmes with a flower coming out of it. Maybe Orphe will just have a trail of petals and books pages behind him. I don't really know. We'll see. There's also the S-tier novelist skin called Sherlock Holmes, of course, the namesake of the whole thing. And this skin looks quite decent. I like the color of red. I think it's red. It's a little difficult to tell, but I'm not a super big fan of this skin. The journalist skin is one of my favorites here, but I'll also talk about another one that I'm not too impressed by, but I think it's still a good skin overall. We got the A-tier skin for Knight called Art Dealer. I think he's wearing a super fancy skin. I think he's wearing a super fancy suit. I really do like this skin. He looks really top-notch, really dapper, as I may say. I think I can still say that. I don't think that makes me too old, does it? I don't know. There's the A-tier first officer skin called Inspector Lestrade. This skin, it's not a bad skin. I'm not super impressed by it. I do think the effects on his shoulder look quite nice, but yeah, it's not something that I'm like, I really want that one. But I'll take it if I get it. I think his cloak looks quite nice from what I can tell. I wonder what it looks like from behind. And there is an A-tier skin for Postman called Dr. Watson. This is the funniest of all of them. I think it looks quite funny. It has really cool looking colors and the goofiness just adds to the charm of the skin overall. I think it makes it look very unique. I like this one. I just want to say that. I think it's really good. Maybe some people don't. We've had confirmed that we're getting some B-tier skins with this crossover, including at least one for Painter, and everyone will receive 10 memory spheres for the event. So that's really cool. I think it's memory spheres, or it could be crossover essences. I can't remember. Essences of some sort. I also wanted to make a quick reminder that the crossover should also bring a new room and furniture pieces as well, although we have not had those revealed as far as I know. Another better look that we've had, apart from the Conan Doyle crossover, is we've had a better look at the upcoming toy merchant skin for the Lantern Festival. The S-tier skin for her is called Myriad Blossoms. It has a lot of gold. I'm, again, not a big fan of things that just have a ton of gold. There is my favorite skin that has gold, but it does seem like the default option for making an S-tier skin is just pack on a ton of gold. Not a big fan of this one. I'm sure that people are in general, but I'm just not. I like her backpack though. And NetEase recently released a Q&A with a ton of answers for people's questions. I'm not going to talk about every single answer that they gave, but I'll talk about some of the ones that stood out to me. We know what the Season 36 rank accessories are, or we know who they're going to be for at least, not what they are. And those include the S tier, I'm assuming, for Breaking Wheel, an A tier for Coordinator, and also an A tier for the Shadow. So that's exciting. I'm wondering what Shadow's effects are going to be. And it's nice to see Breaking Wheel get one as well. He hasn't received a lot of love recently, as far as I can remember. Someone asked about the Line Friends crossover and they wanted it to return, so it's possible that this might return at some point. We know that Arbor Day furniture will be returning on Arbor Day, whenever Arbor Day is. Gravekeeper will get additional accessory effects when he uses his new explosive, pop out of the ground surface ability that he got recently in a buff. So they're going to add some effects for some accessories, or maybe they'll just add them to upcoming ones. I don't really know. It looked like they were going to go back and add some effects to previous ones. They have plans to adjust the points received for rescuing during a match, because people were complaining that rescuing doesn't give you as much of a benefit. Instead of decoding, it's just better to decode, and there are going to be multiple different factors to calculate those points. They are working on a ton of different adjustments to how points are calculated for different modes and how many things you get given. Late February should bring the next set of achievement badges all the way up to Clerk and also for Professor, so I'm hoping, I think that means that Percy's included. Scribbled Ideas, the new game mode where you can make essentially anything that you want, will have some different fixes, bug fixes, also possibly a password feature that they might add to make it so that you can lock it to certain players. They might add a kick button for room hosts, a tagging system, and a scenic preview mode, whatever that might be. I have not messed around with making my own game mode yet, although I have played some really cool game modes. I played one recently from a YouTuber called The Wicked. He's a friend of mine, and he made a really cool game mode that still needs a little bit of work, but it was really well constructed. Some people putting so much effort into these things. There are some fixes coming for the abuse of the unstuck functions. Apparently a lot of people are abusing this, and they're going to try and make it so people can't abuse that so much. And they announced some adjustments that are coming for some characters, or at least things that they are considering. They're considering to buff Magician. Ripper's buff will be added next season to the test server. Naiad will have some fixes to her water circles not closing due to the height differences of where she is and where the harpoon is. And that will be coming quite soon. Knight might get a nerf because it's under consideration. And Hullabaloo and Goatman, a lot of people are complaining about these hunters, are again under consideration for some nerfs. If you haven't already, you should definitely check out the video that's on the screen right there. And yeah, happy Chinese New Year if you celebrate it.